Hey guys, this is John from US Dash Camera. Today I got a review on the DR900X2 DMS Plus. That is definitely a mouthful. This is a camera by Blackvue, and Blackvue was kind enough to send this review unit out to me, so I'd like to thank them for sending this out. Of course, I'm always going to give my completely honest opinion on any dash camera I receive, whether I receive them from the company or buy them myself. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Blackvue line of cameras, there's a couple different series. The 900X is generally the top of the line 4K camera. You can see this is pretty much the same camera you would get with any of the other 900X models. There's also a 750X, which will be 1080p up to 60 frames per second, where this is 4K 30 frames per second. But in the past they've always had a series like the 590, which is a more basic 1080p camera than the 750 series. Now this version, second version of the DMS camera, comes with three different options. You can get the 900X, you can get the 750X, or you can also get the 750X LTE. And with the LTE, you will have a SIM card slot built in, where this camera, you have to plug in the external SIM card adapter, which costs an additional $150. So if you are for sure planning on using the SIM card ability, then you might want to consider the 750 LTE. But at the same time, if you think you'll be upgrading every few years, the nice thing about getting this version or the 750X without the built-in SIM card is that you can continue to use that SIM card adapter for who knows how many years, but you don't have to buy the entire more expensive camera again that has it built in. Now this is actually the second generation of a DMS camera. Now there's quite a few things that I liked about this, and I'll compare with the original 750 DMS camera I reviewed earlier this year, which had both a front camera, a DMS camera, and then also a rear camera that can watch out the back of your vehicle. So that camera's DMS interior camera was very square. This one seems a lot more thought out. It even has this little button so you can remove it, and then when you place it back in, there is some bit of rotation ability. You can move this up or down, so you can put this either on your windshield or you can put it on your dashboard. Now I put it on my dashboard because for my vehicle it's just not a very good windshield to have something on right in front of me. It'll block my view. And what's interesting about this though is, unlike other interior cameras, the DMS cameras do require their own power input, and then that would be the video cable that will go to the main unit. So this is going to come with quite a few different options. Firstly, you're going to have a standard 12 volt cable if you want to just use that. Then there's always the hard wiring kit. This will go to the main camera. I'm not going to go over installation because it can be different for every vehicle. Instead, I'll provide a link to the Blackboxmycar tutorial on hard wiring dash cameras, because that could be its own video. This is the video cable. It's a coax cable. One side is 90 degree for the front main unit, and then we have the hard wiring cable for the DMS. Now what's interesting is this DMS camera can be used during parking mode, so you can connect this to either an always on fuse or have it recording only while driving if you'd like. So the main difference between this DMS camera and the DMS camera for the previous version, which is still for sale, is that this is going to have a much wider view so you can see inside your interior. So that way, if you're something like an Uber driver, delivery driver, you can record your entire vehicle. Now there are downsides to this one though, as it doesn't have as good of tracking as the other camera. So you can see here it only tracks your face, and it can detect if, say, you're drowsy or distracted. But when I tried closing my eyes, it didn't detect that I'm closing my eyes because it doesn't have eye detection. A couple times when I yawned, it did actually detect that I was drowsy though. But I also had some false alerts once in a while. So it's a trade-off. You're going to get the wider view, but the detection's not as good. And now in comparison, you can see from my review of the 750X with the first version of the DMS, it actually tracks your eyes and your face, and it seemed to have a lot more capabilities and detection precision. Also, that version allows you to set it to only detect those kind of alerts while you're driving. So when you're parked, you don't have to get all the alerts and alarms. But with this one, it's on all the time. So that was sort of annoying. Like the other DMS camera though, and all of the other Blackvue cameras, this still has Blackvue's great parking mode. I'm not going to go too in depth with it because it's a little redundant when I explain it in every video. I'll provide a link to the other review where you can see more in-depth look at the parking mode, but it still has the normal automatic buffered parking mode where if it senses motion, it'll save 10 or 15 seconds leading up to the trigger and then continue to record as long as it senses motion or an impact. So that way you actually record up to the moment that you want to record, where cheaper cameras start recording immediately after. It also has a time-lapse option, which is great for people who live or park in areas that have constant motion, because then you don't want the camera recording basically all day long. And like the previous DMS model and other 750-900 series cameras, it does have the cloud features, and the cloud features for the DMS models are even more advanced than just the standard consumer cameras, as the fleet manager or whatever company manager can receive alerts to their PC or their phone if their driver is speeding, if they're drowsy, if they get into an accident, and then they can see where they are in the GPS. And there's also even two-way communication, so he could just talk to them directly through the camera's speaker. Now, again, I'm not going to go too in depth in this. I covered it a lot more in my previous review, so check that link down below for the 750X DMS review I did earlier this year. And of course, like all of the other current Blackvue cameras, this does have the iOS and Android app that allows you to change the settings, set up your Wi-Fi or cloud features. You can view your files and save them to your phone. And with the cloud, this is where you're also going to be viewing your cloud files and how you're going to be getting notifications to your phone if you are using the cloud features. One thing to note is if you are using the cloud feature, you can use one camera for free, but if you want additional cameras, you do have to upgrade to a different plan, and each additional camera will cost an additional monthly fee. So you can pause it here if you'd like to read this. I'm not going to go too in depth in it. In regards to video quality, it's going to be about the same as all of the other 900X cameras. The front camera is great 4K during the day. It's not going to be the best recording at night. That 4K definitely can help with detail, but sometimes it's not as crystal clear as some cameras that might have lower resolution, but say better bit rate and just better low light detection. And as I mentioned before, the point of this version of the DMS series is the fact that you can see inside of your car even when it's at night. So when it's completely dark, it can still see everything going on in your vehicle. It can even see through sunglasses with the infrared. So you're not going to lose that detection even in pitch black darkness. So that's pretty cool. Now, a couple accessories you might want to consider. The first one is the CPL filter. I think this is a must-have personally. It helps reduce glare in your windshield, and it's not too expensive. The other accessory I do recommend to fleet managers or companies would be the tamper-resistant or tamper-proof, as they claim, mounting case. You can see that next to the regular mount, it's quite a lot bigger. You can still get into it if you just have the right Allen key or hex wrench, but it just prevents easy access to it, so someone like a driver can't just easily unplug it. Of course, it's not going to be 100% tamper proof, which is why I usually just say it's tamper resistant. So guys, I hope this video was helpful. This camera is actually not for sale on Amazon or Blackboxmycar. I believe you either have to get it directly from Blackvue's website, and I do see some people selling it new on eBay. If you are interested in it, I'll provide a link down in the description to the Blackvue website where you can purchase it. So as usual guys, drive safe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.